Hello, thank you for listening to the Fillet podcast. This is episode 187. I'm Grant Fierro here with Mike Medina and a
Hey.
special guest, Joe Monteleone, better known as Joe Face within skateboarding. How's it going, Joe?
Good, dude. How you guys doing today?
Did you say your name right, Joe?
Yeah, he said it perfect, actually.
Fuck yeah, Grant. I wanted you to nail it.
Monteleone.
That's funny.
Most people fuck it up, so that's why Joe Face works a little bit better, but it's cool.
Yeah.
We're running it. It's
Yeah,
working.
instead of just asking you about your name, because I feel like a lot of people have already watched the Nine Club, I feel like we should just go over it real quick. You got the name as a kid from one of your friends who couldn't pronounce your name correctly, correct?
Yeah. So we met when he was my first friend, so we were like 3. And he couldn't say Joseph, so he used to call me Jofus. And instead of, ever correcting it, that's what he always called me, and it ran as a joke. And then we were in 7th grade math class. Somebody thought he said Joe Face, and that's how it stuck. And actually, since the 9 Club, a lot of people that I know, like that I see every day, call me Jofus now.
No shit.
So they've gone
Went backwards.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny, but yeah, it's been that way for, I guess it's like 20, 21 years now. So
Crazy.
it just never died, and I've never tried to like really keep it going, but yeah, it's there. My first published photo in a magazine, my boss asked me how I wanted it ran. I told him I wanted it ran as my real name, and then he just ran it as Joe Face anyway. So then it just kept going. So as soon as I got really into skateboarding, like I was like, okay, I guess we'll just keep this going. I'm not ashamed of it or anything, but it's just, I don't know, it's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious though. I mean, that's how nicknames work, man. And that's a from the base one, like you're good.
Yeah, all the way back then.
Yeah, it was before skating, before everything. It was just it's who I was for a long time. So
Yeah.
it worked out.
Cool.
Cool.
Well, I mean, the main reason I wanted to hit you up this week to come on Franky Villani, as Welcome to Dickies part was released. And
Yep.
For anyone that doesn't know, obviously you are the team manager of Dickies and you filmed and edited this part.
Yep.
So we definitely wanted to talk a little bit about that and some other stuff you got going on. But as far as Franky's part, the first thing I wanted to ask about was, I know you just did duets as well, and Franky shared a part with JK's and that.
Yep.
How long was like this Welcome to Dickies part kind of like during the same time frame, or was it just after that? Or
it was all after. So
Wow.
I could probably run through the clips. We went to New York on a Dickies trip, and New Balance sent Franky along to come with us to just come film. And a lot of the stuff that we filmed in New York didn't wind up getting used in duets. So there's maybe like 5 or 6 clips. Probably like 5 or 6 clips from New York, like the 2 tricks over Flushing, the 2 tricks, the 6 clips, 6 clips. So the 2 tricks over that blue 3 block in Harlem, and
the heel flip and then the kickflip board side. That's in New York, right?
The heel flip and the kickflip board sides in Brooklyn, and then the no comply tail sides at the Con Ed Banks.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like Franky got too many tricks that trip, but he did like 8. He did like 8 tricks. And
sounds like it.
They didn't fit into the edit for duets, and because it was on Dickie's trip and I filmed them, we just kept them. And then the rest of that stuff we started filming the day, I think it was the day before the Transworld premiere, or 2 days before. So the video was handed in, it was done. We were like, I've been working with Franky for getting him on the team for a while, and he was on before the video came out, so we needed time to properly do the whole thing. And we started filming, I think, right in October or September. October and September we started filming again, and then all that stuff like we casually kind of did, but majority of it he filmed in the last 2 or 3 months. So he probably filmed like 2 minutes of that, 2.5 minutes of that in the last 2 or 3 months. But the first trick we filmed, he did that fakey front crook Rick flip on that metal edge.
The Wilmington one.
That was the first trick that we filmed like specifically for that. And then that tailside kickflip on that ledge that started low, ended high, and then he goes over the sidewalk into the curb cut. That was the same day. So that was the first day that we started filming that. But
crazy. That's a lot of footage in a pretty short period of time.
Frank's really special. He He's good. He's really fucking good.
Is he your favorite guy to film from the duets video? Or was he your favorite guy to film? I should say.
No, all the guys have their own like different little special things about them, I guess.
Powers.
So Jake, I can run through it all real fast. Jake Hayes, nothing ever takes him more than 10 tries. So if he does it, it's like usually less than 10 tries, except his last trick that backside big spin. I think that might have taken him like 20 minutes. but yeah, nothing takes him very long. Franky's gonna do a lot of tricks no matter what he does, where he goes, whatever. And then he just loves skating. Like we'll get done filming and then he'll go to the skate park before we skate, after we skate, like into the nighttime, and then tell me he's tired and he needs a break from skating, but that really means he's not going to go street skating. He's just going to go skate the skate parks. So they're like that. Vince and Zach are like workhorses, so they skate the hardest spots to skate, and then they'll do what they can to like fix them and like concrete them and like make them good. So
that was my favorite part from the video for sure. That was my most anticipated and my favorite part from the video for sure.
That's dope. I definitely spent the most time with the two of them out of everybody. And then Carlos and Tiago, I only got to film once in the whole thing because then he had like a little bit of problems with his visa and stuff.
Yeah,
right.
So I got to film him one day, and then Carlos, I filmed like a handful of tricks. And Carlos is like a superhuman. He's kind of like so next level with what he does and what he's capable of. It's pretty insane. Ronnie and Robbie's they're good time guys. They're just joking around, having a great time.
I think that you did a really good job at portraying Ronnie and Robbie as that, the way that their part was edited too.
Thanks. That one, yeah. So the video, I didn't really get to edit a lot of the video because I've had to keep finishing. I finished filming it like 3 days before we had to hand it in. So Buckman edited majority of the video, but their part I actually edited.
Cool.
Yeah, and then he cleaned up. So I'm stoked on that. But they just constantly are like having a good time, which is cool. And then Miles and Mika, Jesus, powerhouse. Miles is a gift, and Mika is so gnarly with what he thinks is like acceptable to film. Like
yeah, I can see that.
Like the line he did with the half cap flip and then the kickflip back nose blunt.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that we filmed for the video, me and him.
Oh, shit.
And then he had some stuff, and then their part was primarily filmed by like Matt Mullen, but we got to go on a 10-day trip to North Carolina, and I said it in the 9 Club, but it rained the whole time, so we got to spend a lot of time like hanging out and then trying to skate and do whatever we could. And those boys are talented. So everybody in that video there's nobody who's like a favorite. The one thing I did want to do was film Tiago more, but I mean he's coming back now, so maybe I'll get to go see him a little bit and see him in the streets. But yeah, I mean it was fun. It's hard work.
I know that you touched on it a little bit in the 9 Club, like where you had a few like duos that you had in mind that kind of like didn't work out. I know that you mentioned Ronnie and Ishad, and then I think that you said was it Miles and Paluzzi?
Miles and Paluzzi, and then Nakel and Kevin Bradley.
Yeah, that was the other one.
And then Antonio Dureo and Guy Mariano were supposed to be in that.
Jeez.
So, yeah, I mean, people get busy, people get hurt. It's tough, I guess, but it is what it is, you know.
Yeah. I know that me personally, I was fired up at the idea of the whole like shared part full length. And I was hoping like kind of the Trans World or the video would kind of keep going in like a volume 2, volume 3 duets kind of thing. Is it true that this is going to be the last Trans World video?
I have no idea, to be honest with you. I don't know what's really going on over there at the moment.
It's a bit murky for sure.
I hope it's not. I don't know if it is. I can't really speak on it because they kind of just hired me to make that video, and then you know, I love all those guys, but I'm not really sure what's going to happen like moving forward, I guess. So just I don't know. I enjoyed making it. It was fun to make. I got a majority of the people who saw it gave me like a pretty positive reaction to it, which is nice because It's a tough crowd out there these days.
Yes.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, so it's tough. And then how old are you guys?
I'm 30.
You're 30.
I'm 20.
Okay, so this is an age gap. So Mike,
Yeah, we kind of like that though. That's kind of like why it works.
Mike, you'll remember this then. You remember like paying for videos, right?
Of course. I would not line up, but I would go to the skate shop to buy a video.
Yeah, you'd like call ahead and
literally. Yeah, literally, for sure.
I remember spending $38 at a shop in Florida for bootleg 3000.
No shit.
In 2002 or 3 or whatever, whenever bootleg 3000 came out. But kids now, like, there's a full length video on iTunes. It's $9.99. I filmed it with a $50,000 camera, and they don't want to pay $1 for it. It's
of course.
Why isn't it just online for free immediately now today?
Yep.
Like, what?
And if they're not willing to pay for it, they're automatically trying to find the link.
Oh yeah. They're on Slap being like, hit me with a private message. So I mean, look, everybody's guilty of it, but you get older and it's just like one of those things. It's like, this is what supports something. It's what supports a portion of the industry. So it's tough when that stops happening. And the shift of how the full length video is gonna, I think, have to change a little bit. Otherwise,
how so?
I just think it's because of the way that it's coming now. You can't really like charge for them. Kids don't want to pay for it, so you have to figure out a different way to monetize it, and still be able to, sort of make a little bit of profit to put back into your marketing or whatever, because that's how that works. But I don't know what it'll be or how they'll figure it out or whatever. But
do you think that YouTube will be a big factor in moving forward with full lengths?
So the whole thing too is, so how like YouTube guys make their money off YouTube.
Oh yeah. What's up, guys? Click and subscribe.
Yeah. That. So that whole thing, if you have original music or music that you can license, you can monetize that.
Yeah.
But say you're, a bigger company, you still have to pay for the rights to monetize the video. So even if you make a full length video, you used to be able, you charge for the DVD, you charge for the online sale or whatever, and you'd make the money and then you'd pay your royalty. Now, because kids don't want to pay for it, you have to hope that they go click and watch it. So even if you make it and you give it to somebody, you have to have it distributed to a point where you can click and watch the thing and people will pay for it, which is a little bit tougher, I guess, because then you want to make the money back on it, but you can't if you send it out to somebody else. Like if you give it to a different channel to distribute for you, you're not going to make the money on it. They will, but you still have to pay and clear it. So
that is interesting.
That is very interesting.
I think it's I mean, definitely a good point that you bring up, but I don't know if it's like me personally. I feel like within the past year or two, like that, the popularity of like links getting sent out everywhere for every video that drops like a day after it goes on sale, it happens immediately.
I had to take the video off Pornhub like 4 or 5 times.
No shit.
That seems to be
That's why I watched the Quasi video the first time, honestly.
Yeah, but I mean, the cool thing about the Quasi video was they were going straight to the web anyway, like 3 days later. So you watch it on Pornhub and then 3 days later it's on Thrasher.
That really was how it was.
Yeah, so that was fine. And like the doll video was like kind of the same thing. They weren't ever planning on like selling it.
Away Days was on Pornhub too.
Yeah, Away Days.
I think that was the first one. At least
I think that was like the biggest, like the first like big one to be on there.
Yeah,
it probably was, to be honest with you. So it just gets weird. It gets tough because people like me or all other guys who hold cameras, you got to make a living, and then if the companies can't pay you because the shit gets released for free and they're like losing profit margins on it, which I guess, I mean, for like super big companies.
Right. But that means that you automatically have to be prepared to take a loss right out the gate.
I mean, I think everybody is to some degree, but I think the amount might vary a little bit. Yeah. So
that makes sense.
It's weird. It's a strange time. I talk about it with a lot of guys who hold cameras for a living, how the dynamic is changing, because it's not just us too. It's, photographers and stuff like that, because their work gets shared all over the place. And that,
honestly, I could see it being a little bit, for lack of a better word, scarier for a photographer, especially with print magazine not doing so hot.
I mean, print. It's just the dynamics gonna have to change. That's all it is. I don't know when or how that'll happen or how we'll go about doing it or whatever. But it's interesting. It's like a new frontier on the distribution of like digital content in terms of like photography and videography and stuff like that.
I always wondered if little kids like print out their favorite photos now.
I don't know. They might just have it on their save
wallpaper on their iPhone.
Yeah, like because I mean, fuck, dude. For better half of my life, my walls were covered in skate photos. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think.
And I got those straight from skate mags. Like, I don't know.
I don't know what kids do now, to be honest with you. I really don't. I've been trying to figure it out for years.
I still like personally flipping through. Like I like being subscribed to a mag and like looking through it when it comes.
Dude, yeah, I have every magazine that comes out every month from, I mean, the 2 that are left in the States, but I get them every month and I keep them go through them, whatever, read them all. Like, it's a lot of hard work goes into those things.
They keep getting thinner and thinner and thinner.
You remember when the Transworld was like this thick? It was like,
I absolutely. Yeah. That was like the heyday, man. It
was like 400 pages.
Now, and it had an ad for every fucking brand there was.
Yeah, they were doing good. So, I mean, and they were able to. It's just different. It's a different time. It's a new navigation. It's gonna be interesting to see how it all turns out and pans out, and where professional skateboarding even goes in the future. So,
yeah, but I think that the whole digital media thing has like kind of already shown that it is getting bigger or is like moving forward already. Because I mean, shit, look at Grant right now. He has a Quarter Snacks hat on. He's from California.
Yeah, I mean, they do a good job.
I think so too. But I mean, as far as like Grant just mentioned, I do like having a physical magazine. I think it's just better.
I think that there's a certain person who does agree with you, and I think that there is a large majority of people who, in my mind, might not really care.
I think there's even a big gap. Like we're looking, Mike, you're 30, I'm 20, but if you went to somebody that's only like 3 or 4 years younger than me, like they probably have never been subscribed to a skate magazine.
Absolutely.
Like their whole thing is just like their biggest thing about skateboarding is Instagram, and that's really like it. And so a magazine to them like probably doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, Grant and I have mentioned this before. I think that the whole term, that the fact that there is a term called Thrasher Part is fucking wild.
Oh, I mean, I think Tony Hawk said it best. He goes, "Part of what?"
Yeah, seriously, absolutely. I am right there with you.
Birdman was like, "Part of what?" And
was that in his nightclub?
It might have been. I don't know.
It was. I remember hearing him say that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's just something that's come to the terms of like it's the vernacular. So a part is a part. Doesn't necessarily need to be a part of anything. Now it's just a part of skating, I guess, or like this is a part of my, my time period or whatever. I don't think they'll be able to change out the name, but it is not a part of anything anymore. I just released Franky's Dickies part. He's just part of the team. So there you go. I don't know what else to say.
Right. Another one that confused me. Did you watch Chris Colburn's part, the War and Peace?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What was it? I'd like to know. I'd like to understand this one a bit.
So I don't know. I didn't talk to Minor specifically, but I know Cookie, and I think for this goes back to what we were talking about. I think more people have seen his War and Peace part than they have the entire Element video.
I'll tell you right now, I'm one of those people for sure.
So that's what I think. So Cookie's a fucking magician. He always has been.
Oh yeah, he's Skate Fillet alumni. He's been on here before. We love Cookie.
Yeah. So he's incredible. He always has been, and his bag of tricks is so deep, and he's got so much control, and he can do whatever he wants. And that part shows it. And the part's amazing. So I don't know I think Minor's plan was to showcase Cookie as Cookie, because the hard thing is from a marketing standpoint, a 9-minute part, right?
Yeah.
You want to put a 9-minute part in your video. And their dudes, you know what I mean? Like they're guys that they market a lot are not Cookie.
Right.
So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. Like I said, it's all speculation on my part, but from what makes sense to me is that Minor wanted to showcase Cookie on his own, because if that part's in that Element video, you have to give Cookie the last part.
You're absolutely right.
But you just spent the last 2 years marketing Mason, Tyson,
Mason and
Evan, and then
Westgate.
And Westgate.
Yeah.
So if that's not the dude that you're going to be able to tie stuff to monetarily, it makes sense to maybe like let him shine on his own, because he shined and people have not stopped talking about it, at least in LA, because
that part's the shit.
Cookie did some magical stuff, and I think that might have been foresight on the part of Element and Minor to be like, all right, well, let's have you shine on your own. And I hope that's what it was, because I mean, he shined, he did some
Definitely
shit.
did. So. He did something that I think it's like a lot of people's goals when their solo video part that comes out online is to make your part last more than a day in terms of people's interest.
Fuck yeah, I agree.
And like you were just saying, Joe, people are still talking about that. If I go on Instagram, like I'm still in the past couple of days, I've seen people post that feeble front three where he powers that.
Yeah, that thing is awesome.
Yeah.
Like people are still fired up in his part, and that is, I think, a pretty hard thing to do in this day and age. Obviously, with what we're talking about
in 2019, it's a little tough.
Yeah, and he did it.
Yeah, he did. I mean, and that's what I think is cool for that, in that respect, is that they were able to go ahead and make Cookie, this is him. Whereas, I'm not sure if it would have gotten dropped in the video. Like I said, I don't know how much. I have no idea how many copies Element video sold, but I know more people have seen that Element part on Thrasher than they probably have the video. You know what I mean?
I completely agree with that.
I bought the video because I wanted to support my friends that I had in it, and that I'm a big John Miner fan. Like, I love the videos that he's made over the years. A lot of them, a lot of them people grew up on. So I want to at least do that and support the people that help make that whole thing.
The filmer friends.
Yeah. So
I know that you mentioned before where you were talking about people holding. It's getting a little weird. I forgot the terminology you used, but weird for people holding cameras and trying to get their footage out and get exposure or whatever. I know that you mentioned that you were also the team manager for Dickies. Does that kind of help financially a little bit?
I mean, it's my whole job. I run my paychecks in the last 4 or 5 years. It's more than just team management. It's like I do team, brand, social, and then I help with a lot of the marketing. So it's a lot of me in Dickies.
Sick.
And yeah, it's cool. And
hey, you guys both have Dickies on. I'm fucking jealous right now.
Yeah, I'll send you a box after this.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm just fucking with you.
But yeah, after the it was my first year in LA was really hard to make it by just filming skateboarding. It's really, really.
When did you move out west?
I started going back and forth in 2012.
Okay.
And then I moved in 2013, late 2013, and then early 2014. The job I had that I moved out there with didn't exist anymore. So then I had to film freelance skateboarding for a year before the Dickies thing, or a year and a half before the Dickies thing even popped up, and it was tough. It was really hard. So.
Who were you filming with that at that time?
When I moved out, or when? Do you remember Brick Harbor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brick Harbor. Yeah.
Yeah, I was the team manager and the filmer for Brick Harbor. And
wasn't that PJ?
Karma Loops?
Like through Karma Loop, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It was out of Boston. It was through Karma Loop. PJ was one of the team writers.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Yeah, I moved out here to actually film PJ's Plan B part.
No shit.
Wow.
Yeah, you know how that turned out. So we'll just leave that one there. But yeah, Brick Harbor ended that January, so I was out of a paycheck, and it wasn't like super. I didn't need like a ton of money to make it work, but it took a little bit. It took a lot of work. I was filming a lot of web content constantly.
Yeah,
I basically survived making like skate park edits for Transworld and Thrasher and other people who needed like stuff that was like kind of like turn and burn, and every month was like, hope I can cover everything, hope I can eat, we'll see how it happens.
Up in the air.
And then the Dickies thing came around, and that worked out, and now I've been doing that. It's my full-time job, and the opportunity for the Transworld video kind of came up, and it's it's like a little bit of a dream, so we just made it happen.
Do you kind of get to like dip your hands in who's getting on, or who gets stuff, or who's getting introduced to the team, or Like, what's your role with that? Like, how did I know that? Just for example, I know Jamie just got recently introduced.
That's all me. So most decisions, the only decisions I don't make are when people's contracts don't get renewed.
Gotcha.
So from my standpoint, like I don't want to lose team riders.
Mm-hmm.
I want to always expand and grow and keep everybody happy. But that being said, if my boss doesn't think that you're doing, a good enough job, then that hammer comes down from her and not really from me. But in terms of suggestions for who gets on, what happens, all that stuff, it's a lot of me and it's a lot of behind the scenes work. It's not as easy as just like throw this guy a contract.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask, sorry to cut you off, but as far as that, just before we kind of switch topics, was I know Franky, I mean, obviously we're talking about his welcome part, and Jamie as well recently got added.
Yep.
I know personally, like just on Instagram, I saw a lot of comments from kids like, oh, I already thought Franky was on.
Yeah.
I know obviously he's been getting hooked up from Dickies for a while, and I know he's gone to like some of the events that you guys have had too. So what was the process like? Just was it kind of like you guys wanted to have a good introduction for him, or just why kind of was it set out like that?
It just kind of just takes some time.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, things behind the scene, although because a company is really big, doesn't mean that they move really fast.
Yeah.
And Dickies is not one of those companies where they move really quickly on anything in terms of adding guys. So it's a lot of work behind the scenes to make things sort of happen for that to kind of make sense.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of work on my end to make sure that we have the right fit for a guy and they're going to work out or they're going to want to be there or whatever. So a lot of that stuff just kind of comes down to meetings and phone calls and emails and PDFs and spreadsheets and analytics, because I have to talk to someone who's not in skateboarding, and then she has to go talk to her boss and make it happen.
Yeah.
And then with all the information that I provide. So it's not that I didn't want Frank immediately.
Yeah.
It just takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of time. He knew that. He knew I was going to take care of him when I could get him taken care of, because that's just how that is. It's how that works. But I mean, it's like anything else. You see kids who are on, or guys who are on flow teams for forever, and then they finally get introduced and you go, oh, I thought that guy was already on.
For sure.
Yeah, that's just
So Frank just spent a lot of time with me in the last 18 months because of the duets video too. So maybe that's also why, because he was constantly around. And then a lot of the guys share similar sponsors. So Frank's might have been around a couple of them more often than people had realized. And then because he's always in the clothes and always, doing a great job, and stickers on his board and like tagging or whatever, people made the presumption that he was already like fully on. But these things they take some time.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing though, right?
No, I mean,
I don't think it is at all.
Yeah, like if anything, that's like a good thing. Like you got a dude like Franky hyping your brand up without him even being on the team. That's definitely not a bad thing. No,
and he's stoked. So
it seems like it, dude. It seems like he posts more about Dickies than he does any of the rest of his sponsors.
No,
New Balance. He
does a lot of stuff for all of them. The whole thing with Frank is that if you really go through his Instagram, he posts a shit ton. So the way the algorithm and all that shit works is you probably just missed it. You probably missed his primitive post, but saw his New Balance post. You know what I mean? Because he's like on it. He's an internet kid, but he's so talented. He's like a little magician.
He really
was the Blink-182 song.
I was going to ask about that too.
All right, so we had me and him sat down and had a discussion, and he's always wanted to skate the Blink-182, like always. And I was so I'm 31 and I love Blink-182. I will disclose
that was a huge thing, man. Huge.
Fully disclose it. I've been a fan since I was 9, 10 years old, whatever. But there was a period of time where Blink sold out and they made poppy music and people hated it, and they hated on Blink. And if you liked Blink, you were kind of lame and whatever. So now Dude Ranch is 20 something years old and he goes, I want to skate to emo. And I had to think about it, I said, well, it's 20 years ago. So when people were skating to Guns N' Roses, when I was, 16 or whatever, like maybe an older dude thought that was lame, but I thought it was sick. So that's kind of where I had to put it. And he wanted that song, and that song doesn't sound too Blink-182-y. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty punk.
Yeah, it's good enough to where you couldn't really tell unless you really knew, I guess. Like if you were a kid and you heard it for the first time, you wouldn't be like, oh, it's a Blink-182 song.
Yeah.
Maybe until Mark or Tom or whoever has like the higher pitched voice at the end comes in. But he wanted to skate to that song, and I was down for it. He was nervous because he thought it wouldn't work. He wasn't sure if it was going to work or if people were going to like seriously hate on it. But it actually came out to be the other end where people like really loved it, and it was more love than hate based on the song. And
yeah, I actually, at least personally, like whenever a part drops online, I like to watch it, and then I'm just interested to see what everyone else is thinking. So I'll just like read a couple of the comments or whatever.
Yeah.
And I saw multiple people like just psyched on the song and like saying there needs to be more like punk or whatever and skate videos again. And
I agree.
A lot of it was just about like, oh, this song's sick. Like I'm hyped. It's not some mumble rap song or what. Obviously there's going to be like all the opinions in the world about music.
Well, that's the thing. There's an opinion
it did
about
seem that a lot of people were hyped.
Yeah, and that was the thing. We were like, all right, it's out. We just put out a video part to Blink-182. We'll see what happens.
Let it happen. Yeah.
What was it like getting the rights for that one?
Wasn't too bad. But the cool thing about Blink is that they wanted to watch the part and approve it themselves.
Fuck yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Rad.
So Blink's Franky's favorite band, and when I told him that, he's like, oh my God. He's like, really? They have to watch it? And I was like, yeah. I was like, make a break, dude. They might hate you after this. You might have to be your favorite band. But yeah, they backed it and they let us run with it.
Yeah.
So I was pumped.
Did they say anything about Franky skating, or they were just like, oh, it's cool?
Oh no, they were just pumped. So
yeah, of course.
I think it's one of those things where you're just psyched. And he was psyched. It came out good. The music can be polarizing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Music essentially makes or breaks a video part, regardless of how good the skating is. Because there are some video parts that you've watched, I guarantee it, and you're like, that was the best video part ever. And if you really watch it like on mute now, whatever, it's probably good.
Yeah, but yeah,
it's probably not as earth-shattering as you thought it was, but the music makes it. So it was a little bit of a risk. People seem to really like it, and I think that the music fits Franky's demographic and who really likes him as a skater. And
definitely
for him, I think because he really wanted to do it, and this was kind of like a good opportunity to do it because it's not in a full length where you might ruin the vibe of the video or whatever. And
yeah,
I was down to let him live out his dream. He's been talking about it for years. So
that's rad.
I figured we'd make it happen.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Regardless of what Slap says and how much they hate on it.
I was psyched yesterday. I think it was last night. Thrasher posted his ender, the fakey back tail.
Oh, yep.
And the one thing I wanted to mention about that, which they put it right in their caption last night, was the way that he swerves in. I've skated that school recently, which for anyone that doesn't know, that's the same school as he does that boardside kickflip. It's like, I think it's the second clip in the part.
Yep.
That's the same school as that super long ledge over grass.
That was the same day.
Yeah, I could tell by the clothes, or I assume. Yeah, the same day. Swerving into that thing, fakey back tail, that is psycho.
So it was a good squad. It was a New Balance session that day, and we were trying to figure out where to go. And the night before, or 2 nights before, Frank said, I want to go to that ledge. And we had no idea what we were doing that day. We were going to a bunch of random spots. And then Frank might have suggested it. And we went. And then we had to wait for a certain time for the security guard to leave, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he said come back after like 3. And it was getting dark at like 4:30 when we filmed it.
Yeah.
So for anybody who's never been to high school, you have to hop 2 fences to get into it.
Yeah.
So
they're fairly big.
Yeah, you have to hop 1 fence, which is annoying, and then you have to hop the second fence, which is tall and annoying. And I'm old. I don't want to hop fences anymore. So we went, and then we got to the school, and Franky, I don't even think he might have done a couple kickflips, and then he just started going straight to it, and then I was just sitting on the ledge, like just hanging out for a second, and then he goes, I'm going to do it, so just let's set up. And I set up, Alex Kissinger set up, and Jake Lazier, sorry, Jake, set up, and we all filmed it, and he did it in like maybe like 15 minutes.
Wow.
Before the sun went down, and then there's like a sea ledge in that school that everybody was skating, and after he landed it, he sat down for like 10 minutes, and there was maybe like 8 minutes or 8 or 10 minutes left to light, or maybe a little bit longer, not too much longer. And he went and board slid that rail, and I was like, "Yo, that was sick! Like, let's film that." And he was like, "Nah, it's whack." And then he did like a board slide, shove it behind him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And he did that, and I filmed it with my iPhone, just like casually. And I was like, "Let's film that." And he's like, "Nah, Trick's gay. I'm not doing that." So then he starts trying to board slide, kickflip it. I was like, "All right, well, I'm definitely setting up for this."
Yeah, that is psycho.
And then he goes, "Well, if you can film it before I land it, it's cool." And I was like, "You're such a dick." And, he likes to do that. He likes to torture me. So, but me and Jake set up, and we filmed it, and he did it.
He did it perfect.
Yeah, it didn't. I think it was the second one he stuck, so it didn't take him very long. I think that board slide kickflip was more of a battle than the fakey back tail. To be honest with you,
that's his shit though. That dude can go backward fakey so easily.
Variations.
Yeah, he makes.
I mean, even just in this part.
Yeah, I mean, he makes fun of himself for it. He's like, "I need to learn some new tricks." And yeah, I guess, but
that's a good superpower to have, though, man.
Yeah,
it's tough. It's tough to do and make it look good.
So hard to hold.
Yeah, and he's got it. He's got the superpower for it.
So. Oh yeah,
the Flushing Meadows one with the varial flip out was crazy.
The Rick flip one is a mind boggler.
Yeah, so I'll touch on both of those. So the Flushing trick, we went to Flushing because I wanted him to do fakey front crook, fakey flip, and he was arguing with me and said he wanted to do fakey back tail varial flip instead. And I think that one was like second try or something.
Jeez.
Might have been like the first one he flipped out. He landed. And then he fakey front crooked it. You'll see when the rough cut comes out, but he fakey front crooked it like 5 or 6 times.
Of course.
And then the fakey front crook Rick flip.
That's fucked.
We went and he did fakey shove it heel flip out. And he landed that one. And it's like, I'll try a couple more. And then one of them accidentally over rotated a little bit more to Rick flip. And then he was like, "What if I try that? Is that whack?" And I was like, "No, just do that." And he did that one, and it's infinitely better than the shove it heel flip.
Yeah.
But Franky can't Rick flip. He can't do it on flat.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Out of fakey front crook.
So he figured it out that day. Out of that, I don't know if he's ever done one. I don't know if he's ever done like a Rick flip on flat yet. But he's like, I can't. I mean, he can probably do it, but he told me he couldn't do it.
Do them. Yeah,
he doesn't do them, but. Yeah, he did that one. That one, I was like, "Whoa, all right, this is cool."
Yeah, hell yeah.
So, he put out 4 video parts last year. So,
I was thinking actually when this one dropped, I was like, he is really one of the most productive dudes. Like as far as putting stuff out.
Stays healthy too. It seems like.
Define healthy.
You don't really hear him like getting fucking smoked or like being out for 6 months or something. You know what I mean?
He takes some slams. He eats some shit. I just think he's like a little rubber band right now. Yeah. So it works out a little bit. He's definitely not like the healthiest. He eats a lot of like flaming hot Cheetos, but yeah, he's good, dude. He's good if he's gonna skate. What are you doing? My dog just came in.
Mine's over here, snoring.
If he's gonna skate, he's gonna do a trick. So. Like the footage that I have of him is footage that I have of him, and then footage that New Balance has of him is footage that New Balance has, and same with Primitive. And he's got stuff with everyone, like that is completely different to what the rest of us have.
That's amazing.
So if he and then TJ Gaskill is filming like a video right now, and then TJ has stuff of him when he goes out with those dudes. So Franky, if he wanted to, will drop like 4 or 5 video parts this year if he feels like it.
That's wild.
And then I already told him I'm going to put him to work again. so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what he does.
Yeah.
But he's very productive. He's very good at what he does. So
definitely,
it's dope.
I wanted to run through real quick. We had a couple comments on Instagram of some questions for you.
Sure.
This I think might be one of your friends, Joe. His Instagram is Too Rich Too Hill.
Yeah, that's Ricky.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not. Is that? I guess real quick. Do you want to explain who that is, or do you want to keep it a secret?
No. He is. when I was like 16, he was the little kid that came to the shop. And I think I met Ricky when he was 8 or 9 years old. And he was super small and skated in a helmet and like could do kickflips. But like, 20 years ago or whatever, or 15 years ago, that it was rare to see like a little kid skating. So he kind of became part of the crew and came skating with all of us. And I'd pick him up and I would pick him up in my fucking car, and he was like 10, and like his parents would just let him come skate with us like wherever we went, and I've known him for the majority of his life. And, he's like a little brother for a long time. But
Rad. So he he asked to ask about your time delivering for Pudgy's Chicken and how it compares to being a marketing manager. He said, "I'm sure it was his favorite job, and he remembers it."
He knows what he's trying to get out of me. So I worked for Pudgy's. I was in college, and I worked at Chapman Skateboards on Long Island as like in their the warehouse or whatever, or the store, wherever they needed me. And then at night, most nights of the week, I would deliver pizza or chicken for Pudgy's or like the local pizzeria because I needed some money because, money. And my buddy got me a job working for Pudgy's, and it was pretty easy. Just pick up chicken, deliver chicken. But the interesting part about the job was that I delivered to a lot of strip clubs, and strippers would always try to get out of paying for chicken by showing me their tits. But
it didn't work.
It didn't work. I was like, I need the cash. And they were like, you want a tip? Like, come out back. I was like, no, I kind of need the money. Like, I don't need your titties. Like, it's not gonna put fucking gas in the Firebird. So let's do this. But yeah, it's
man.
Rick, it's better. Life is better now.
It's only improved over time.
It has only gotten better.
Oh man, that's great. Yeah. So we have David. His Instagram was Purple Matter. He actually asked about Franky, which I know we just discussed. But he asked about a funny story with Franky.
Every day is funny with Franky. I don't know if this is funny, but this is a story that happened 2 weeks ago. So he does that cab back lip on that rail in that hallway. Mm-hmm. So we went to that school to film that cab back lip for the part, and he did it third try. And I made a joke to him, and I was like, "Oh, are you going to do a harder trick now or something?" But I was kidding, and he didn't really get that. So he started trying to do cab back overcrook or cab back nose blunt or something. Wow. And he had never done the trick before, but he was trying because I made fun of him. And then I was filming from the front side, so the nose blunt or the overcrook would be from the front, so you wouldn't see the turn all the way. But I would be out of the danger zone because he didn't know how to do the trick. And he said. He kind of like said something. He's like, kind of be sicker from the other side. And I was like, yeah, I know, but you don't know how to do the trick yet. So I'm going to wait till you get better at it. But this is just in case you land it. And then, if you do it and it looks like shit, you just do it again, whatever. Yeah. Because, fine. Just do it again. Just do it again. You'll hate me, but do it again. Then he tried a couple more and he started to lock into it. And he's like, all right, like, it really would be better from the other side. Oh, okay, fine. So go to the other side. 2 tries later, he throws his board into my head, splits my head open, and I had to go get stitches.
Oh, no shit.
So I had to go get a couple stitches. My head just leaked like a faucet. Cairo Foster. It was the day after Cairo Foster retired. Cairo and I went skating. Like he came to the skate park, and he was like, "I'll come to the streets, whatever." And luckily, Cairo was there, and he just like ran over and gave me a shirt and made my head stop bleeding. And then Franky's girlfriend, Eliane, drove me to the hospital so I could go get stitches. Got stitched up, and then I went and got some pasta across the street from pawn shop out in West Covina because you lose blood, you need food. So I went and got a bunch of pasta, and there was still like 2 hours left of daylight. My head was hurting, but we were still out skating, and we still need to finish this thing. So I said, let's go to this other school up the street. So we drove to a school, and then he did the tailside 360 heel flip. So, so we went to school, got a trick in 3 goes. He gave me stitches, got stitches. I mean, got cut, got stitches, got pasta, got a trick, went home. So that was like 2 weeks ago.
That's a good Franky story for sure.
That's amazing.
That was like 2 weeks ago. So that was.
Wow.
How's your head feel?
That's good. I have a dent in it now, little fucker.
Shit.
Yeah, it's like
from the board.
Yeah, from the board. I have a dent. Like you probably can't see it, but it's like it's right here, and it's just a dent. It's like a divot, So now I got a divot in my head. It's fucking Frank and his board.
Oh man,
he'll owe me forever for that one though. So we'll be fine.
That's good. One other question. Fat Boy Don't Lie. He asked, how is it being in charge of the Dickies team, which I know we've already touched on a little bit. But is there anything in specific, or actually I kind of want to ask, is there any like a project with the full team that's being worked on or talked about at all?
So we always kind of do stuff with the full team whenever we try to put out like an edit. We try to make sure that everybody's there together. In terms of like a full length project, the idea was kicked around by Zach and Vince kind of immediately upon finishing duets.
Yeah.
And I told them if we're gonna do that, we're gonna work on it slowly. We're not going out into the field, as the kids call it these days. 7 days a week. You know what I mean? Like if we go out on the weekend and you get a trick and we do that for a while and things start to happen within a year and it starts to shape up to be like that we could do it, then we'll probably do it. But
just gonna see how it goes.
Yeah, we're gonna casually go out loosely. Like, I mean, I have like a bunch of footage of Jamie right now that's just kind of chilling. So
can't wait.
Yeah. So I mean,
amazing.
But that's like, you know, I got stuff with Zach, I got stuff with Vince, like stuff. You know, you naturally go skating with these dudes, and stuff happens, and you film it, and then you dictate where it goes later on. But whether or not we'll do a full length, I'm not really sure. We'll have to put it to a team vote and see how.
That would be super tight.
Yeah, just it's a lot of work. And
yeah, I get it.
You gotta, like, for me, it's like I hold a camera, it's fine. But if we're going out and you're just dragging ass, not trying to do tricks or focusing boards or whatever, then it becomes work. But if we're just skating and you're like, oh, I can do this, and you film it, and usually these guys all have like a pretty high standard of what they film anyway, so most of the time it will be good. I think that kind of helps. But it's fun. They're a fun group, so
totally.
They make my life miserable from time to time, but for the most part
that's funny.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's all the comments, and I think pretty much all we got as far as that.
I only got 3 comments. Damn.
Only a few, but people hit us up.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so we got at least Mike and I. Joe, you're welcome to stay or do whatever you'd like. We have some just some other stuff that went down in skating this week that we're going to sit and chat about.
I could probably stay for a couple conversations.
Let's talk about Boys of Summer.
Let's get it.
I didn't make it all the way through that yet, to be honest.
Did you watch Andrew Allen?
Yesterday.
Yeah, I watched Andrew.
Okay, cool. We're good then, dude.
Mike, is that's the standout to you, Andrew Allen?
Fuck yeah. Do you already know how I feel about that guy, dude? That guy fucking rules.
Andrew's dope. He's a good dude.
Power. Crazy amount.
Oh, go ahead.
My bad.
No, what are you going to say? I didn't hear you.
I was just
saying I'm out of here.
I was gonna say that I'm hyped. He seems to always find like random cool bank spots. I mean, obviously he'll kill LA High, like the most famous bank, but he'll find the most random like neighborhood looking banks that he skates into that are so cool.
I just talked to him the other day, and I guess he moved to like kind of like toward like El Sereno, East LA area, I guess.
Okay.
And I think he's just been going around,
cruising around there. It's funny. I actually saw him there one day at El Sereno, and he was. Like some of the weekend dudes were there too, and they're all going to go out skating. And they said they were just going to go find some stuff.
Yeah,
it seems like that's what they do.
They're good at that. They've found their zone full of little gems. So
yeah, totally,
for sure.
They do a good job.
Jerry, none of those spots look very easy to skate, though. Let's be real. Shit.
I mean, truthfully, like East LA is kind of like Vincent country. So if you go out to any of those spots, they're probably not easy. They're probably not fun, and they're probably going to be a lot of work. So,
yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah, you've seen it. You go. It's not that great.
Yeah, always. I mean, I don't know. You guys are both from areas that have very weathered spots, and I know a lot of people, of course, say LA is perfect spots and whatever. And there's obviously very good spots here, but there is stuff that maybe doesn't translate on camera that is so hard to skate.
I think it is a misconception as to what people are actually talking about. And I think that people are referring to Orange County when they talk about perfect spots and not so much Los Angeles. LA has some perfect schoolyards for sure. There are definitely like gems where everything's perfect, but New York has the same thing. New York's weather is definitely insanely like more gnarly than here. So the spots do get weathered, the streets do get shittier quicker, and trying to film clips in the snow is the worst thing in the world if you're trying to be productive in January.
Bad, yeah.
Trying to fucking skate in the snow is so difficult.
Dude, it's tough. And, for us East Coasters or people in the North where you get snow and you get weather and you got to try and survive it. If you don't have an indoor park, you're basically searching for a parking garage to set up a flat bar so you can
just skate.
So you can flip your board a little bit and then
literally that. Yeah. Find a homie's basement and shit.
Yeah, there's like videos on YouTube of like us playing games of skate in Spanish Mike's basement in the wintertime.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to talk about. I know that you grew up with him. He was like the younger kid in the group, right?
Yeah, he was a little bit younger than me, and he was Mike was very energetic. Same way that he is now. It was just a different energy. He's a little cooler now, so his energy is like more cool guy vibe. But he's somebody I've known for majority of my life, and he's been the same dude for forever.
Pretty crazy to think that you guys are both kind of like in the same industry as far as like the TM world goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I didn't try to be here; it just happened.
That's sick.
I think him is the same thing. It's being a team manager is kind of like, I don't know if it's like an aspiration for anyone. I think you just kind of
fall into it and get hyped.
You get thrown into it one day, and then you're usually like pretty project management oriented, or you're you have pretty good organizational skills, and you're able to like put up with a lot of personalities. And I think that's kind of what happens. And Mike's one of those people where he deals with a lot of personalities all the time. So it kind of worked out for him. And he himself has like a big personality. So it's I've known him for a really long time. But yeah.
He's also been on the show, huh, Grant?
Briefly, yes.
Briefly, yeah.
This was a long time ago. There used to be a guy, Drew, Joe, that did this show with us, and I think he set it up with Spanish to come on here. And Spanish was at the barracks doing the show, and this was a couple years back. Like he was primitive TM at the time.
Yeah.
And the whole team was in there skating the park, or whatever. And so I don't know who, or if we saw who, but someone was like, "Yo, Spanish, like you got to go get food for the team."
Oh yeah.
Spanish was like, "All right, guys, I'm sorry, like I got to go." And then it led to Corey White, who was working at the barracks at the time.
Yeah.
Like, took the phone or whatever and was just on our show. We didn't even know who he was at the time and just met him from that. It was amazing. It was so funny.
Corey's tight.
Corey is tight.
He's so cool, yeah.
So the primitive team, to my knowledge, used to like torture Mike. but he kind of loved it. It was like some brotherly torture, but they used to give him a ton of shit. But it's kind of funny. I don't know. Nobody's ever said that to me. I think they know better. So we just go eat we have like a group decision. Let's go eat. It's kind of nobody's ever sent me on like a water run. You know? We're always pretty prepared by the time we get to the spot. So
that's good.
Yeah,
probably the best way to do it. This week, a couple other big things. Obviously, Louie Lopez announced his departure from Flip, which I think a lot of us were pretty much waiting for at this point. But I actually didn't hear any talk like that it was really about to happen. I know for a while it's been kind of rumored like he was going to head somewhere else.
He's already having a big year, man. Got a shoe, and now he's switching sponsors.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what Lou's going to do. We were talking about it yesterday. I don't know where he's going to go because there was something that was supposed to happen, and then I don't think it is anymore. So I don't know.
Are you referring to the fucking awesome thing?
Yeah.
I heard the same thing, that it isn't, that it was talked about and is no longer happening.
It's all speculation. I don't really have any true inside knowledge. Just based on what I read on Slap and then talking to people and whatever. There's a lot of industry people on Slap. I don't know who all of them are, but they say some shit sometimes because I have a Slap account. I don't post on it, but I lurk it. You know, it's the first thing I look at every day. Wake up, look at Slap, see what's going on in the world. And there are some industry people in there because there are some people who spit out some shit where I'm like, nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. You have to be somebody. Stuff. Yeah, somebody leaked some shit the other day, and I was like, you're one of 3 people at 2 companies, so I know who you like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
that's funny.
Yeah, but I don't know what he's gonna do. It's Flip. Like, sorry, really sorry. You know.
Yeah.
Flip. But
yeah, it's Flip.
Sorry.
But Louie's Louie, so he could do whatever the fuck he wants.
Agreed.
There was a lot of dudes commenting, like Cromer commented, like so crooked. Nuge was like Baker.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Someone said Polar. Oski commented like tagged Polar or something. Like there were so many dudes like tagging their board sponsors. It was funny.
That's awesome.
It was cool to see.
Louie Lopez. If you've never met Louie Lopez is the coolest dude. Period.
I've never met him, but I am a giant fan of his skateboarding.
I am a giant fan of Louie Lopez.
He is one of the best.
He is dope. He's a good dude. He's a good dude, and he is a fucking magician. I did not.
Yeah, he's the shit.
I did not think that little kid with that long hair on Flip was going to turn out to the beast that he is. But whatever.
That West End part from last year was fucked.
You know what I randomly just thought about? Like, this isn't usually the first clip that comes to my mind, but since you described him as a magician, that Wally, like, hippie jump, and then he 180s.
Oh, yeah, the thing that GX posted or whatever?
Yeah. He, like, jumps over that flat bar in front of the bank, and the bank just shoots it right to his feet.
Yeah,
it's like the craziest clip to watch. It made no sense.
The best Louie clip is the frontside heel flip over the bump to bar, and he steals that fucking dude's beer and keeps going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He's a good dude. Whatever he does, it's gonna be sick. So
yeah, I'm excited to see. That'll probably mean some more Louie footage in the near future.
I mean, I don't think he's gonna stop.
No. Dude, that blunt slide he put on Instagram, I think it was like a thing for a shoe on that crazy kink trail and like bounced out of it.
Oh yeah.
So rad.
Yeah, he's good.
One of the sickest.
He'll be fine.
Mike, I know this is probably one of your favorite things of the week. Dan Mancina dropped his TC.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. This was the best. Are you kidding? I got to see this in person. He came to the skate shop that I ride for, and like we have an indoor skate park that's part of the shop.
Yep.
So he came there as like kind of like a special needs awareness type thing. But like he also kind of just skated around with us and like had people come out and shit, you know? Dude, have you ever seen Dan in real life, Joe? Like seen him skate?
You know what? I don't know that I have. I know that we have like similar friends, but I've always been a fan of that dude because I cannot even imagine.
I'm telling you right now, it's one thing seeing it in the footage. It's fucking sick, right? But when you see him physically use the is it a cane or a stick? I don't want to call it like the wrong thing.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
The thing when he literally literally uses it to measure the length that he has to pop onto the thing, the amount that he's going to grind, and when he gets off.
Well, that was the thing. I was like, there has to be so much math and calculation that goes into that.
Seriously.
And I was tripping. We watched I was just in Denver for a trade show, and I was with Jake Johnson and Vincent. And I was doing some work on my computer, and then I got a little notification that like, oh, this video part's up. And I was like, you guys want to watch this? And we all sat around the computer and watched it and just bugged out. I was like, this dude has done tricks with no eyes that I've never done in my life. Like,
dude, the half cab board slide pop out. Are you fucking kidding? That trick's hard.
Dude, okay, that's one of the tricks I wanted to talk about. The fakie from board is really maybe 2 weeks ago. I was skating and me and my friends started talking about that trick, and we were saying how that's like such a blind trick because you're looking over your shoulder and you can't see and you feel like you're so close to the obstacle or whatever. Like it's just a weird one and it's not that common of a trick either.
I guess it doesn't matter.
He does it. He did it so good and popped out.
The blind side doesn't matter for that guy.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. It's the measurements, man. I'm telling you, like I watched it happen. It's fucking wild.
Yeah, it was super inspiring. He did like his last trick, he drops down the bank and like lands a manual and then kickflips.
Yeah, insane.
So I can't flick out of anything. I've never done a manual kickflip in my life. I've done like a bunch of tricks to manual, bunch of tricks to like grinds or whatever. I've never been able to flick out of anything. And I was like, this dude has just made me want to go try and figure it out.
I completely agree, man. I'm right there with you.
I was like, I gotta figure this out. This dude is the shit. So it was cool.
There's also the heel flip on the bank where he literally blasts it and catches it. Like how?
You know what? That's another thing I want to talk about. Flip tricks. Like obviously all of it is crazy, but flipping your board without being able to see it is.
And he blasts that heel flip. It's not like it's just like rolled, you know?
Yeah. He's just it's got to be 100% commitment every time.
He eats some shit for sure. I've seen that too.
Like, what else do you do? You know, the one thing I liked, I don't remember what the clip was. I think it was whatever he does in the bank, and then he does the fakey tray flip. The one thing that I liked that he did that I don't know how many people are gonna think this is whatever, but he like pushes off the bank with the stick.
I loved that, dude.
And
I loved that.
I was like, he juiced himself up to go. Like, he's like, I gotta go faster. And he didn't push
the fakey tray. Yeah.
Fucking bank with a stick. I was like, you're dope. That's sick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got gassed off this part for sure. I was fucking stoked.
I definitely want to say, Mike, you were saying, asking if Joe has seen him in person. I haven't either seen him skate in person, but he's going to be in LA. Real is doing an event on the 16th at El Sereno Park.
Oh, that's dope.
So anyone in Southern California area,
if you have the chance to go see him skate in person, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It is insane, dude.
I want to see it.
It makes you feel like you're a pussy. You know what I mean? Like, dude, he's literally skating blind, doing like tricks and that I don't even do.
No, he's pretty sick, man.
Like the front crook to fakie is not. I hate that. I can't do that.
I like that he did the front board pop the front crook fakie.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah. I've never seen that before.
Me neither.
Definitely haven't either.
Hats off to Dan Mancina. That was dope.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Killed it.
Yeah.
And like the graphic that they gave him, like, could you have nailed it any harder?
That's so sick.
Jim is sick. Jim
That's our boy.
He knows what's up.
I killed it with that for sure.
Yeah, I was stoked. So
Deeds mustache rides part for Enjoy on Thrasher.
Joe, did you watch this?
Yeah.
I watched this multiple.
Crushed it.
I watch I have like a very good connection with Enjoy. So I spent a lot of time at Louie Barletta's house in my life. Just skating with him and Zach.
He seems so sick.
He's a sick dude. He's dope.
He seems like it.
But when I first started coming back and forth to California, I met Zach randomly in Pittsburgh, and then he rode for Brick Harbor, so I had to go film him, and I stayed at the Enjoy Mansion, which is Louie's house.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just I would just sleep on their couch, and we would just get drunk and hang out and skate, and whatever.
Yeah.
And we did that for, I would do that multiple times a year just to go hang out with them. So I always hung out with all the Enjoy dudes a lot, and they're all like pretty good friends. So I'm like a super big fan of anything that Enjoy does. And Deeds fits the mold. He's
fucking rips.
He's good. He does a lot of good stuff. He does some crazy board slides. I don't even understand half of them. And I like the name. I like the mustache ride. That's funny.
Yeah, I found that hilarious too.
Yeah, I like that.
Especially after all the board slides, it definitely made sense.
Yeah, it's good. He does. I mean, and that fucking stash in general. He's got one.
Dude, it's the type of part to me that's the type of dude that it just makes you want to go skate. And
I agree.
It's so gnarly, but it's also just like fun, and like the song went great with it.
I think that you have to not take skating too seriously. Yeah, because it is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
The way some people take it sometimes.
I think that there's certain skaters that portray it as fun more than others.
For
sure.
And I think those people, you can tell, and it translates, and then you get psyched.
Yeah, I know that he did the impossible tail grab over like the little fountain, and he literally daps his homies up on the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I fucking love that, dude.
Yeah,
I fucking love shit like that.
He does that super long, like whatever boardside yank. It's like next to the water on a pier or something, like where it jams up that bank into it.
Does a little kickflip into the thing afterwards, right?
Yep. And I noticed, I think maybe the second time I watched it, he gets up into it, and you'll see a bunch of people walking like way back behind him, and you see a couple people stop, and they're just like tripping out, like as he's holding the board slide down that whole thing. It's so.
I mean, I would. That's some out there shit to see, especially if you're like if you're a novice,
skateboarder, you're probably just like, what is going on?
Right.
It's so sick.
I always trip out what other people think of when they see what it is that some of these dudes do, because you'll be at a big rail or somebody's jumping off something, and they're just flinging their carcass, for a while until they land it.
Yeah.
People just walk by and they're just like, what are these idiots doing? But for us, it's like calculated risk. But as somebody who's like passing by, they have to think you're trying to kill yourself. Like that's the only explanation I can come up with. I can't,
especially like the older crowd. You know what I mean? I feel like the younger dudes, like they kind of like get it, like skating. Because like I live in a college town, so I'm surrounded by a college campus, and we have a ton of spots. And usually when we're skating streets, we'll go fucking, 5-6 deep or whatever. And people will definitely just stop and try to film us on their phones and shit and stuff like that.
It's weird. It's cool that people still are shocked by it, because I guess where I grew up, like, I was one of like 5 skaters in my school.
For sure. Right there with you.
By the time I graduated, I was the only one. So, you don't see that too often. So I always trip out when people see it, like maybe not so much in Southern California, but other places.
For sure.
They got to think that people are.
Yeah, just visiting Southern California, you like can tell that they grow up as skateboarding fans as opposed to like sports fans that we fucking grow up as, or like Chicago at least.
Or they're numb to it.
Yeah, exactly. Or they're numb to it. Because I know, I mean, fuck. Just as an example, like Grant has been seeing pros his entire life. Like what shit? When I saw Guy Mariano in the city, it was like a fucking unicorn.
Yeah, I have like ironically, I have like one photo with one pro skater growing up, and it is Guy.
No shit.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I tripped out as a grown ass man seeing Reynolds. Like I was at Grant Skate Park, like the big Chicago one that they built.
Yep, the big one.
Yeah.
The one they had the contest at it and shit.
Yep. But do you remember when America and Lakai like collabed and did the Stay Flared tour? It was a couple, probably like 4 years ago or something.
Yep.
They came there and I was like just shooting the shit with one of my homies facing this way. Hey, what's up, blah, blah, blah. And some fucking random taps me on the shoulder and goes, man, this fucking park is sick. And it ended up being Reynolds.
Yeah.
And it was like, I tripped out, dude. Totally tripped out. And there's Heath up on the top, like leading over, drinking beers. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah, you're like, what's going on?
Yeah, I never realized that Brandon Westgate's like 5'2".
Brandon's he's a little tall.
He's a little dude, man. That's a little guy.
He's a little bit shorter than I am, but he is.
I'm 5'8". He looked like a little guy.
Yeah, he's dope. Brandon's
hell yeah.
I like Brandon a lot. Big.
Oh, he's so sick. I also didn't realize how tall Figgy was. Holy fuck. Dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Figgy's a big dude.
He's a monster.
I've seen Figgy a couple times recently. I don't really know him at all, but he had like he just like doesn't give a shit. He had like a mullet going. Like
I saw photos of that.
Yeah. He lives in Oceanside, right, Grant?
Yeah.
I saw him at Prince Park.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Oceanside one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Saw him when I was filming Ronnie and Robbie down there one day.
Yeah, that's good.
And he was just there. He had full mullet, didn't give a shit. I was like, that's cool. I was like,
that guy's so sick.
I was like, you don't care. It's awesome.
Yeah, he's just doing his thing.
Yeah, it's always a trip. It's always a trip though when you go to a skate park, and I mean, I guess for me,
especially as like us, like dudes that don't grow up around West Coast, it's kind of wild.
We did what was it? We did something the other day. I went skating with the New Balance guys, and then there was 17 sponsored skateboarders in a park playing soccer. You know what I mean?
So sick.
That's what we were doing, and then we showed up to a skate park, and it was just like, if this was anywhere else, people would be losing their goddamn minds. But it's just a normal day in Southern California when you can have between 5 and 15 pro skateboarders show up to a skate park just to dick around for a little while, and then they just go home or like go about their day or do whatever they do. And for anybody else in any other part of the country, that is absurd to think about.
No shit. I completely agree. I know that like this just popped into my head. I know that you said that you were you were lined up to film PJ's part, and that you did film a little bit of Brick Harbor stuff with him. What's your relationship like with him now? Is he on a lot of New Balance trips? Does he go out? Does he do a lot of stuff with New Balance?
We haven't talked in a couple of years. So
really?
No. I filmed his that Brick Harbor in New York City thing.
I
filmed that, and I filmed his Real Street. And then
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Bronze medal, dude. I got a bronze medal in that game.
That's sick. That's
rad.
They didn't give me the fucking medal. It was the year before they started handing them out, but I got a bronze. That's how people.
So PJ only got the medal?
Yeah, PJ got the medal. probably in one of his closets.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I don't really talk to PJ anymore. I've seen him. I saw him like a year ago. It was the first time I had seen him in a long time.
In years, gotcha.
Yeah, we haven't really kept in touch since 2013, so it's been a while.
Yeah, and that's when you were just out here, right? Like you just came out west.
So shortly thereafter that.
Gotcha.
I lived with him when I first came here.
So, no shit.
Yeah. Then I did.
I know we spent some time. We've mentioned Instagram a good amount today. Christian Jordan, a 10-year-old, boards at El Toro.
Nigel's channel.
Yeah, was that who filmed it?
Yeah, Nigel.
I just saw it on Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to make of this, but I feel like it had to be mentioned that a 10-year-old boards at a 20 stair.
Question.
Yep.
Do you know what's the Minnesota dude with the blue hair? Cody Davis. He also did it as a little kid. Do you know who did it for, like, who was younger?
Oh, I didn't know Cody Bortz did it as a little kid.
Yeah, he did the middle rail, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, he's sketchy.
All I know, or what it made me think of, was Nyjah Feebled Hollywood 16 when I think he was 9.
Holy shit! No, it was Was it Nyjah or Chaz?
It was Nyjah.
I mean, I don't know if Chaz skated too, but I know Nyjah. He's
because I remember there being like a little like 8-year-old Chaz.
And I've never been at the top of Hollywood. I've just driven by it, but everyone says that rail's so tall, and I don't know how somebody that short could possibly feeble it.
I don't think Hollywood's as tall. I think skating the 16 makes more sense than skating the 12. The 12 is steeper.
It's like more proportionate.
Yeah, the 16 is like longer. I mean, it's obviously longer, but I think it's a little bit more mellow in the way that the rail is proportioned. I think that the 12 is higher and steeper.
Okay.
And I think the 12 definitely has like shittier run like landing.
Yeah, right into the fence. That sucks.
Yeah. It just depends. It depends on who's going to go and how scary it's going to be. I don't understand a 10-year-old looking at a 20 stair and being like,
no shit.
I've never skated a handrail in my life because I've been petrified of them. And then
let alone like El Toro. Like,
yeah.
Like the, like the name that comes along with it and like the allure. Like,
yeah, I mean, hats off to that kid.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope that's not
the norm.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't become the norm. It's going to get weird.
It's very weird.
He's the kid that, you know what though, that little kid, he's good. He can do some stuff. I liked his Instagram after that, and
that's sick.
Yeah, good. He actually, I'm subscribed to Nigel's channel. He shows up on there pretty often. I think he's a Baker Flow kid.
I just hit up his parents. I'm gonna start sending them clothes too. So
no shit.
Yeah,
that's so sick.
That's rad.
The kid's got some talent. I
agree.
I think that truthfully, because Andrew is sending him stuff, I was like, well, he sees something. We'll see what happens. So
might as well.
If Reynolds
is obviously pretty good at that.
Dude,
no shit, dude.
If Reynolds is giving you the cosign, he's got to see something.
Yeah.
So
you're not wrong there.
Very true.
Good job to that kid, because that is never gonna see me on anything like that.
Yeah, he did something that not that many people have done. Skated a 20 rail. I mean, I know that gets obviously getting more and more common, but dude, that's so psycho.
Oh, here's the thing.
He's 10.
Here's the thing. It's a board slide. You see a lot of grinds.
Yeah.
You see a lot of grinds down 20 stairs. Board slide down 20 stair. Oh. No.
It's funny.
He sat on it too. Though. He sat on it and balanced it.
He was on it good.
Yeah.
It's funny to think about. I mean, obviously, like a kid being that short, like to him, a back 50 on that's probably psycho. But someone that like skates rails like that, that's grown, would for sure rather grind that thing.
So I obviously get to skate with Foy now and watch him skate rails, and he's not gonna board slide a rail.
Yeah.
Like, why would he do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just gonna go like he does. Jamie's process is crazy. Jamie will drop in and grind a rail. Like he'll go, give me a shoulder.
Yeah.
Set the board, I'll hold him up, and he'll drop in and grind whatever he's gonna grind. And then after he figures out that he can drop in and grind it, which is pretty much every rail that he tries, he'll grind it pretty much right away, and then start trying whatever trick he wants to try or whatever it is. But it's never a board slide.
Yeah.
Like, rarely.
I mean, it makes sense though, because if you think about like he's so controlled with like locking into those grinds, and a board slide, it's like it's not as, I don't know, like you're not locked in, like you have your whole board to get into it crazy or whatever. Like he gets into a 50 correct every single track.
Well, what I've talked to him about, because I don't understand rail skating. Like I understand it, but like I don't understand like the mental commitment of rail skating. I'm never going to, because it seems frightening to me. And he's got it so dialed or whatever, but I'm like, what do you do? Like, what is it? And he's like, you just stay calm. And somebody sent me a clip. It was JK's the other day. Sent me a clip, like they were skating some 20 stair rail or something. I don't know. And Foy was going to front feeble it. No, it wasn't a 20 stair. It was something else. It was just like him warming up. He missed the front feeble. But he slips in the front board, but his feet stayed in front feeble. He didn't panic. He got to the bottom of the stairs, kicked it away, and just like walked off and laughed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's terrifying too when you miss your truck, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So for a normal person, you're gonna slip out and you're gonna die. But for Jamie, like a front board and a front feeble, like his foot positioning, whatever, didn't change. He just missed the truck, and he just stays so calm and goes, "I'm gonna take this. I'll take it down to the bottom,
take it to the bottom,
and whatever, and it's done." So that big rail skater thing that these dudes have, it's like they're so good at it.
Mm.
I watched Zion do the half cab back Smith.
Oh fucking hell, man!
Gosh.
Yeah, there was like 4 cameras there. They didn't even take mine out. I was like, I'm gonna watch this. And Zion was half cab back smithing the 12 in between him trying it down the 16. So he did it down the 12 like 7 or 8 times.
Wow.
In between him doing it down the 16. And
insane.
Watching him skate that thing, like, yeah, there's like a couple tries where you're like kind of like afraid for him, but he knew what he was doing. He knew how to get out of it like almost every time. And I don't think he barely even got, scared. He might have got scared himself a couple times, but it didn't look it. He was so like,
there's the rail walk. That one looked fucking terrifying.
I've seen him do that though. I've seen those dudes do stuff like that.
Yeah, people say that like that they just know how to jump onto the rail.
Yeah,
like they're not locking in.
Yeah, it looks so scary.
Jamie actually had a like a Ask Skate Warehouse little like question thing that came out this week that I watched.
Yep.
He says that with big rails that he'll just think of it. It's like from the top, a 20 stairs the same thing as an 8. Like if you lock in good, like you're making it to the bottom. And that I heard him say that. I was like, that's a crazy way to think about it. But I guess like when you're that confident, it makes sense.
Well, it was like a shot with double kink rails when he was explaining him talking about double kink rails. He was like, "Oh, it's just like riding down 2 banks."
Yeah,
and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" No, it's not. Sounds crazy. But to him, it makes sense. And after you think about it, you're like, "Oh, yeah, I kind of get it." But then, a bank, you're not going to sack a bank.
There's a little sense to it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's like logic and reason, whatever. And to Jamie's. What Jamie's going to say, like, yeah, he's going to ollie like a couple stairs down, grind a couple feet, and then he's out, and that's it. It's fine. And I get that. But I've also seen like his footage that he's holding on to, and there are some rails where like they're a lot bigger than 20.
There's no escape.
And then I don't understand how you're getting out of this, but you're doing it, and you're doing it like not even stressing. So it's
he's the best in the world at it.
He is
the best rail skater.
Yeah, undeniable.
It has to be
undeniable. But yeah, it's crazy.
I feel like him and Nyjah are like the pinnacle.
Nyjah can do more like nollie, switch, flip in,
switch, lip slide down. El Toro is.
Yeah, I mean,
I actually was gonna say I've always thought that trick in his part is kind of overlooked because it's not the most insane looking trick. But if you think about switch front lip, like it is not a common trick.
You ever done one? I've never done that.
No, I don't do switch front lips.
I could do them on ledges. You know what I mean?
Like, I don't feel like that does not feel like the move for me.
A random trick down a rail.
I think. So I'll tell you a story. So when Antonio was little, we went to this like really long 14 stair in Brooklyn. And it's probably like the length of a 20, but it's New York and it's big and it's 14. It's a shitty rail. And it was like thin and square. And Antonio had a lot of pop, and he was maybe like 16 years old. And he board slid the rail like really easy. Mm-hmm. But when he could board slide something, I knew that he could switch lip slide it because after you get in, it's the same trick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like a switch lip slide to fakie or back to regular is the same thing as a board slide to regular. You just ollieing in different. So if you can mentally commit to the ollie, then it's the same trick. But you're rolling up switch, you're switch ollieing over into a 20 stair handrail onto like your nuts. And then So in his mind, I understand how that trick might have made sense to Nyjah. I don't know Nyjah, but that shit, I mean, it is overlooked. He's crazy. Like the switch lip slide. I feel like that trick might have not got as overlooked if he went back to switch, but you're also asking something,
No, I think that's. I completely agree with that.
He's nuts. Like he undeniably, Nyjah has done the gnarliest stuff anybody's ever done ever since he was a kid. Like constantly.
Feebled Hollywood at 9 years old.
Dude, when I watched his like elementality part or whatever it was when I was like
Rise and Grind shit. Remember like the back full cab nose blunt?
No, yeah, whatever he did, like whatever it was that he was doing, like at 9 years old, I was like, oh, like pro skating's a wrap for me. This is never gonna happen. Like it's been that good. He
I mean, you're not wrong. There was him and Chaz at the same time at like 9 years old.
Yeah, Chaz was kicked from feebling handrails like as a fetus. That trick wasn't even. That was like a New York ad. It wasn't even like a thing that anybody was doing. But yeah, those dudes are gnarly. They do gnarly stuff constantly, and it's. I mean, you can't. Fuck what I just said. Like switch flips upside down with Toro's insane. Like that kid's crazy. But I understand how maybe in his mind he could have justified trying it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I don't understand doing it.
What do you think is the gnarliest thing been done down that has been done down that?
Frank Kirk.
Yeah, I agree.
Frank Kirk for sure. Yeah.
I always talk about it, the impact, how well he takes the impact. He literally took it like it was a skate park rail.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie lands. I don't know.
Wild. It's fucking wild.
Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. Sorry, Jamie.
I have to go back tail for gnarliest.
I was just going to say, I think back tail.
I think the front crook is my favorite looking one. But in terms of just like gnarliness of getting smoked, to me, it has to be.
I mean, we saw him get smoked. Jeez.
I actually
think about how blind that is. Like, I
forgot about the back tail, to be honest with you. I forgot that got done this year.
Back tail and front blunt.
They got done. So the front blunt, not taking away from Vincent Milou, he did the front blunt, right?
Vincent Milou, yeah.
Yeah, but that one's safer to ollie into.
For sure than back tail, yes.
Back tails.
I would say.
Back tail.
But again, there is the factor. Like, obviously, if you're trying a front blunt down a 20 stair, you're very comfortable in getting in front blunt, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, have you guys ever done a front blunt where like you miss the truck and it like ends up in that really weird front board?
Yes.
Dude, that is one of the worst feelings ever. Of like not knowing what, like, you have no balance there.
I will say this: anybody who's going to skate that rail and do any trick on it, you have to be like
a psycho. Yeah.
One, you're out of your mind, or you're so overly confident that whatever you're going to do, you're going to do, and you're okay with getting smoked if you're going to get smoked. So no matter what, any of these tricks, it's just like, it's kind of like just, it's chat, speculation. None of us are going to go do it. None of us, you know what I mean? So these dudes doing whatever it is that they're doing, hats off to all of them. It's all crazy.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think that if you're going to go comparatively, I have to agree because I forgot about it. I think the back lip is, not the back lip, the back tail is fucked. Although it did get back lip by Carlos Ruiz.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is also crazy. And then, I mean, Nigel switched lip slide just for was it the only switch trick?
Down the rail, right?
Down the rail, yeah.
Yeah, no one's. I'm surprised he hasn't switch grinded it.
He probably did. Probably did, and you haven't seen it yet. I don't know. He could.
Other than the rail, I think there's only been like 2 switch tricks in general. I know Nick Merlino switch ollie and then switch 180.
Didn't Descenzo nollie it? Does that count?
Yeah, Descenzo.
Oh yeah, we'll give that. That definitely counts. I mean, you're landing straight though. That's the only thing.
Dude, think about how fast you had to go.
Landing switch is like a fucking nightmare, dude.
Well, I mean, then it's really just Merlino then.
Yeah, switch 180.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. I've been there.
You think that in 2019 we're going to start seeing flip tricks?
I hope not for their ankles. For their ankles, fake, dude. I feel bad for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like dudes who go the huck route. I'm like, oh God, you got to keep doing this.
Can only live so long.
But then again, there's dudes like Jocelyn who are, in my opinion, he is the best hucker, and then he literally just dropped a part of all ledge bangers,
which is a smart thing to do.
Yeah, I just think he's gonna keep hucking. He just did the ledge.
Fuck yeah.
He did the ledge thing just because people were talking shit.
I like that. I appreciate that approach, honestly.
I appreciate it too, but people, they want to see him.
I want to see him jump down shit.
You want to see what he's gonna do next, and the hard part about that is you can't downgrade yourself.
Definitely,
and that sucks because
I think that if he stays healthy and he kind of paces himself in like a Reynolds-esque type way, I think he can do it.
I have a quick Jocelyn story I'll tell you. I filmed him do like 60 minutes in the Transworld Park. It came out a couple of years ago. It was before the Plan B video came out. It was before he really blew up or whatever. And I went down there with him and Fillet, and Jocelyn said that he wanted to do the 60 minutes. So the 60 minutes works like you basically have a timer. do as many tricks as you can, but you can take you can pause it and take little water breaks or whatever. You don't have to run around like a psycho. But in the 60 minutes that we had the timer going, he landed 66 tricks in the skate park. So after I'm telling you this, go watch the edit and look at the 66.
I will.
I do want to see that.
Yeah.
Because it is he didn't miss tricks. He didn't miss for a couple of minutes. Just
yeah, I saw him for the first time in person, warming up at Street League in Chicago. This last one they did, that I think was maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was fucking wild, man. I've talked about it on the show before, but he literally didn't fall off his board, and he big spin the biggest thing there first try.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, Chris Johnson skating in person is
wild. Yeah, for sure.
It's really man. I mean, everyone is great to see in person. Obviously, it's things are always more impressive in person, but his consistency, and I mean, it's really with every pro that in person their consistency is straight mind blowing.
Yeah, I just think that there are certain people that the one thing I'll say about seeing people in person is I think there's people that people don't really understand when they watch their footage, and then when they see them in person, they go, "Oh, okay, I get it now."
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris is one of those people where his footage is undeniable. You know how good he is, but I think his consistency and how well he actually skates is something that you don't really appreciate until you see him do something in person, and then you're like, oh, you are that good at what it is that you do.
I still think it's wild that he won Battle at the Barracks.
That is crazy.
Dude, he could flip his board.
He does them all. He's got all the tricks.
Flip his board.
I was just going to say, his confidence with flip tricks, I mean, not talking about flat ground, obviously he could do everything on flat ground, but his confidence with flip tricks it's psycho. It's like nobody else's.
Yeah.
He will put it down no matter what, and he'll land it over and over and over.
Yeah, it's very good. Good job, Chris. Good job, Chris.
Definitely. We just went on a little Chris.
What else we got on this list? Is that it?
We got a couple more quick things. So American media is, I guess, purchasing the Enthusiast Network, which does include Transworld.
Yep.
And so the article I actually was informed and read about this is on Stab magazine, which is a surf magazine. But it's really just Stab, yeah. And the reason they have this obviously is because Transworld does have, the Enthusiast Network includes Surfer magazine, and that would also include Transworld skateboarding and snowboarding. So this article in specific discusses kind of meetings that people had all of a sudden and how people are getting laid off, and just kind of that things could be up in the air, I guess.
Yep.
As far as really what the future is with these different media platforms, these different magazines.
So Joe, you're not a Transworld employee. You were hired to make the video.
Yeah, I was a contractor that got hired to make the video. I never was on the official payroll.
Gotcha. It's got to be fucking terrifying when a company called American Media comes in and starts fucking firing people.
Well, I think it's the same company that owns the National Enquirer, if I'm not mistaken.
Jesus Christ, that's terrifying. What are they doing in our world?
Article.
Yeah, so I don't know. I hope that my friends over at Transworld.
Yeah. I hope Transworld keeps it going, man.
Well, I
know that there's a part of that article where it mentions them being sold off individually or whatever, right?
Yeah. I mean,
and it's just fuck, dude, that's kind of scary. Because you could sell something and it get dissolved very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you don't own something, or somebody else doesn't have the interest, a lot of those big companies, what they'll do is buy companies and then break them off and sell them to make a profit.
Terrifying, dude.
Make a profit. So I hope that they're able to weather the storm of the Enthusiast Network selling them.
Yeah.
I don't really know anything specific about it. I just know that it's
shitty.
Yeah, it's shitty. It's not great right now.
Yeah. Joe,
that sucks, man. Because I mentioned already twice that I'm 30. Growing up, Transworld videos were massive.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to make one.
Yeah, so that was my next question. Is how influenced were you?
Say again.
How much did those old not old, but the older Transworld videos influence you wanting to get involved with a video project with them?
There was a couple of videos growing up that made me want to make videos in general. I talked about it a little bit, but photosynthesis for me was the most important video. It's the only my homie Brendan from the Secret Tape got me a copy of Photo. Like I have it. I'm getting it mounted for my house. My wife is probably not going to like it, but whatever. But I used to watch Transworld videos. Like that's all we watched. Like those are some of the videos that you watch. Like the reason Modus
In Bloom,
feedback in Bloom. Sight Unseen.
Yeah,
huge.
Huge videos.
And even when you get into like Jason's videos are incredible. Like Time to Shine is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the video Subtleties is an amazing video. And all those things made me and James want to make a Transworld video because it's something that you wanted to do. It's something that we wanted. And the opportunity was there. And I thankfully, like the dudes at Transworld let us do it. When they did,
yeah,
obviously. So I'm super grateful that I got the opportunity to do it and to do it with Buckman. We grew up together, and that was a dream for both of us. So for it to happen and whatever, it worked out. But those videos hold a special place near and dear to a lot of people's hearts. So
Definitely,
it's hopefully whoever gets in there maybe analyzes all of it and the culture that goes into it, and they come out all right.
Yeah, I hope so, man. That's what I'm crossing my fingers over there because, in my opinion, just having, I mean, there's low card, there's other things, but I mean, I feel like Thrasher is the kind of taking over the skateboard media right now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Look, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it. I think Thrasher's sick. I have Thrasher and shit.
I have a bunch of friends who work over at Thrasher too, and they're all really good people and good dudes and whatever. You know what I mean? I don't think that anybody in skateboarding really wants to see anybody else fail and fall.
That's kind of the vibe I get, is that like people at other companies don't want to see other companies like go out of business these days. You know what I mean?
Well, this is the thing, in all honesty, too. It's because we're people. We're skaters. Like I have people who I know and I'm good friends with that work at like Volcom. I don't want Volcom to go out of business. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I want my friends to get paychecks and survive and like
totally
live their dreams and whatever. And, there's more than enough money in the world for all of these companies to be there and be involved, and pay people or whatever. But it just, at a certain point, it becomes business, and then there's people at the top, and they got to see the profits that they need. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense anymore. So I'm hoping that whatever happens to Transworld is positive for them, and they come out like on top, because I don't think it's good for there just to be one major U.S. magazine anymore.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree.
I think Thrasher will agree with that too. I think that they need the healthy competition.
Yeah, I completely agree.
It's good to have different viewpoints and different outlets and whatever.
Especially with like such an established, like Transworld was already established. It's not like something came in and was like, okay, hey, what's up, Thrasher?
No, they've been here just as long as they were. It's 30-something years. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of, I mean, truthfully, the Enthusiast Network owned most of skateboard media. They owned Transworld, they owned Skateboarder, and they owned 411. They owned all three. So, you know what I mean? There's a lot of archives and history that whoever purchased the Enthusiast Network now owns and is directly owned by Transworld. So hopefully it all works out.
Definitely. I think that's what, like you guys were just saying, pretty much everyone wants to see, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants anything to go out of business. And I just think it's something that nobody wants, and hopefully nothing bad happens to it, and it's all good. So,
yeah, definitely agreed.
We're all crossing our fingers on that one,
for sure. That's all we got on this list this week.
Cool,
Joe. I want to thank you for coming on. That was super rad to hear about. Obviously everything, duets, Franky, Villani, Dickies, all of it. Thank you again.
No worries. Thanks for having me, guys.
Sick. I love stories, man.
Hopefully I didn't fuck this up for you guys too much. And
no, you killed it.
Don't bore people with that. So, I'll talk to you all.
All right. That's a wrap. We'll be back.
Later, boys.